Cause I've been in my head and I don't wanna run alone. Been through this before, like my heart in the underground. Run till it stop and shut it down. Cause I don't wanna run out of love.
If you've ever wondered how your favorite songs sound louder, clearer, and just more professional than yours, chances are the problem's in your master. So to make this easy, I simplify mastering into 3 core steps, and I only use stock plugins so anybody can follow along at home. You guys have been asking, so I finally delivered, and if you guys want to see the full mix for this as well, also using stock plugins, just let me know down below. Alright, let's get into the master. We're going to be mixing an alternate version of Deja Vu by 𝕊𝕆𝔹𝕆. It's an old unreleased song, and normally with traditional mastering, you're not using stems. This is not stem mastering, this is mastering. Played the most loud part of your track, that's going to be the hook for me right here where the drop is. So first thing you're going to want to start with is a parametric EQ. We're going to use this to shape the tonal balance of the entire track. Let me explain. So generally audio is made up of your lows down here, your mids right here, and then your highs up here. Tonal balance just means having the right amount of each. Think of it as adjusting the shadows and the highlights like with your photo app editor. Right before that, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a low cut. Come up to this purple band right here, drag until it looks just like that. And then this right here, you're going to pull that down until you see 4 squares. That's as sharp as it's going to get. And then you're going to come over here, last step, use your scroll wheel and go 1 notch down. Play your track.
I've been in my head and I don't wanna run alone. Been through this before, like my heart in the underground. Run till it stop and shut it down.
We're going to cut off up to about 25 hertz right here. You can do up to 30 because then you're going to cut out the actual sub itself. This keeps your sub clean. Sometimes when you do this on trap beats like this, it does have some weird artifacts just because of the way the parametric EQ works. Use a wide bell right here and we're going to pull down just a little bit and correct any weird volume changes at the low end.
I've been in my head and I don't wanna run alone. Been through this before, like my heart in the underground.
You can see how much you're reducing by looking up in the top left-hand corner. We're going to move it down like, I don't know, maybe 1.5 dB. All right, next, let's move on to the mid-range. If your track sounds unclear or muddy, it's living in this range right here, from about right here all the way to about right here. So just to enhance this clarity, we'll take band number 4, and we're going to do a couple dB reduction there as well. Make sure you use really wide bells, some nice broad reduction. If you boost it, you can kind of hear what you're reducing.
I've been in my head and I don't wanna run alone.
So that's that boxy, muddy sound that I was talking about earlier.
I've been in my head and I don't wanna run alone. Been through this before, like my heart in the underground. Run till it stop and shut it down.
Next, we're going to grab band number 5. Ultimately, the end goal with mastering is you want to be able to turn it up really loud and it shouldn't hurt your ears. If it does hurt your ears, probably because you have some really harsh top end. And generally that's going to live right around here in the high mid to the present section. This track does have a lot of that.
I've been in my head and I don't wanna run alone. Been through this before, like my heart in the underground. Run till it stop and shut it down.
And then let's bring down those high highs just a bit, just to clean up the top end some so it's not too hissy.
I've been in my head and I don't wanna run alone. Been through this.
Remember, these changes are going to be very minimal and they're going to add up a lot over time. You'll see how drastic of a change it's going to be as we finish up. Next thing we're going to need to do here is add a surgical EQ. Now this is where you get to go crazy. We're going to be doing exactly what we just did, except with tighter notches and a lot more of them. So you want to do the bulk work and then fine tune. I'll put a massive cheat sheet on the screen that has pretty much every single frequency range defined as a term, but the main things I'm hearing here are just a little bit of boxiness and some harshness up in the top end. So my strategy here, take a really narrow band with your scroll wheel and boost it. Any frequencies that are really loud in volume, turn it down a little bit. Don't go too crazy with this because you might actually turn down a frequency that's helping the track. If you can, try to hear out which frequencies you like and which ones you don't like. Just go with your gut.
I've been in my head and I don't wanna run alone. Been through this before.
All right, you hear that? 650. I hate that frequency so much. So what I'm going to do is notch that and turn it down some.
I've been in my head and I don't wanna run alone. Been through this before, like my.
All right, let's do it again.
I've been in my head and I don't wanna run alone. Been through this before, like my heart in the underground. Run.
I generally don't like that frequency too. There's a bunch of them here that are just kind of right next to each other. 650, 1000, 1100, 1250.
I've been in my head and I don't wanna run alone. Been through this before, like my heart in the underground. Run till it stop and shut it down. 'Cause I don't wanna run out of love. And I've been in my head for so long, I forgot this ain't reality. I'm already gone, it's a tragedy.
All right, perfect. Find some low mids now.
I've been in my head and I don't wanna run alone. Been through this before, like my heart in the underground. Run till it stop and shut it down. 'Cause I don't wanna run out of love. And I've been in my.
All right, last one. Let's do one more up here in the top end.
I've been in my head and I don't wanna run alone. Been through this before, like my heart in the underground. Run till it stop and shut it down.
Yeah, there's that whistle right there. So let's turn that down some. I'm not going to do too much. Just like I said, maybe a dB reduction max. This is all going to be amplified as we move on here, but try not to do anything crazy. Maybe 4 dB max over here if you're in really bad shape. But generally, if you're having to do stuff like this right here, you're going to want to go back and reevaluate your mix. Is it really ready for mastering, or do you need to work on it some more? All right, now the final step of the cleanup process, mid-side EQ. In general, this is what a mid-side EQ is. Editor, flash it up on screen for me, man, because I'm too lazy to explain it. But yeah, we're going to use this to add a little bit of width, clean up some muddiness, or, you know, make everything clearer. Open up Patcher. I love Patcher so much, dude. There's so much stuff you could do with this plugin, man. I swear to God. I really advise everybody check out the presets in here. I mean, you're going to find some really awesome shit. We're going to head straight over to the filter section and click mid-side EQ. It's going to open up 2 EQs right here. One of them's the side and one of them's mid. Close those out for now. Grab onto this little yellow dot and unlink the side. So this way, we're only hearing the mid frequencies for now. Get rid of a little bit more of that harshness that I was telling you guys about earlier. It's going to live right up here. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing we did earlier and scan for boxy frequencies. All right, once I found 2 like that, another trick I like to do is just take another band on top of it and do like a wide sweep just to kind of reduce both of those, like they're 2 little teeth sticking out. Okay, so let's relink the side, and then we're going to unlink the mid. A good trick to add width to your track is to add some shimmer to the side. And then we're going to knock all of those lows. Use your scroll wheel to make a less harsh slope there. We're just going to roll them off. All right, relink it. Nice. Okay, now, before we move on to the next step, it's always a good idea to reference. Now, what's a reference? In the most simple terms possible, it's basically a track that you're comparing to your own when mastering or mixing. This could be a Spotify song you downloaded. This could be one of your own tracks that you already love to mix on. Drag it into your DAW, and you swap back and forth until the one you're working on sounds as good as the one that you're referencing. And now that AI is becoming really sophisticated, there's a platform called Master Channel that I've been using that has 2 great AI-powered engines. AI mastering used to be horrible, man. It's gotten so good, so I actually use it as a reference point to see if what I've done or what I'm doing was actually good. Let me show you exactly how I do this. We're going to go to masterchannel.ai, and you can see I've already run a master on it right here. But we have the AI mastering and the Wes Clark AI. The Wes Clark AI is exactly what it sounds like. It's modeled after the famous engineer Wes Clark. And then you have the AI mastering over here, which is obviously the original mastering engine. So we're going to do both. Grab our mix file, and as soon as you upload this thing, it'll give you a finished sounding master in under a minute. So if there's any blaring issues that I'm not hearing, this will expose that for me. So let's also upload to Wes Clark just to have that processing in the background as well. All right, they both finished. So click play and then go to Wes Clark, click play. Here's a standard engine master.
But it's nothing to gain, whoa, whoa. And it's just starting to take my soul, but I can't seem to get enough. Lower I go, feel like I'm getting high when I sober up. Down this road 100 more, and I can't seem to find no luck. And I can't seem to give no fucks, and maybe that's why.
And then let's take a listen to the Wes Clark AI.
Cause I've been in my head and I don't wanna run alone. Been through this before, like my heart in the underground. Run till it stop and shut it down. Cause I don't wanna run out of love.
Personally, the Wes Clark AI is the best, so I recommend that model the most. Download that one, drag it in, and turn the gain down just a bit, and we're gonna listen to what we have here and compare it to our master just to see if there's anything that sticks out that I missed.
I've been in my head and I don't wanna run alone. Been through this before, like my heart in the underground. Run till it stop and shut it down. Cause I don't wanna run out of love.
Okay, so there's definitely a little bit more body in here. So what we can do is go back to our patcher and we'll go to the mid section and we're gonna boost some of the low mids just to add a little bit more body back into this vocal.
I've been in my head and I don't wanna run alone. Been through this before, like my heart in the underground. Run till it stop and shut it down. Cause I don't wanna run out of love. And I've been in my head for so long.
Awesome. Yeah, that is perfect. And hey, if I already got your track sounding better than it was, it always helps to push the video if you subscribe and leave a comment down below, especially if it's a question you have to ask me. I'm always very happy to answer those. Appreciate it, man. All right, now onto the cool stuff. Next step is peak control. To briefly explain, peaks are these things right here. You see how it's a bit higher right here, right here, right here, how there's a spike right there in the waveform. And if you have anything sticking out like that, it's going to stop the track from getting as loud as it can be. Mostly your 808s, your kicks, and just your bass in general. And the goal here is to tame those and push those down just a little bit. All right, and let's break out Fruity Limiter. I'm so serious. Fruity limiter is the GOAT if you know how to use it. Let me very quickly explain this. You have the attack, release, and sustain. Here's what those do, just so I don't have to explain them anymore. So let's start by setting the attack to between 10 and 20 milliseconds. You can see how many milliseconds you're at by looking at the top left corner over here. I'm going to do probably about 10 milliseconds just to start out with. The release time should be between 100 and 200 milliseconds. So let's move that to about 150 right in the middle. No need to really mess with the sustain for now. And then we're going to use a compression ratio of 3:1. Okay, now let's pull the threshold knob down just enough to catch those peaks, and you'll see it start to work right here.
I've been in my head for so long, I forgot this ain't reality. I'm already gone, it's a tragedy. I run till it stop. She calling me, but I'm already out of love.
And mostly tame the 808 there. Just make sure you have the envelope settings set up right, and we'll go over to imaging and stereo enhancements. The method we're going to go with here is just some simple stereo enhancement. Stereo width in this case is referring to how wide your tracks feel. You know, how much it fills up your headset. So let's add stereo enhancer. It's the easiest way to do it. No more than about 25%, and 25% is a lot.
And it's just starting to take my soul, but I can't seem to get enough. Lower I go, feel like I'm getting high when I sober up. Down this road 100 more, and I can't seem to.
Yeah, so right about 18% sounds the best. If you made it this far in the video, let's confuse everybody else in the comments by commenting the word llama. As mentioned earlier, it's also a funny way to help push the algorithm. So yeah, okay, now we've reached the final stage. At this point, the goal is to get the track as loud as humanly possible. First thing to do here is control a little bit more this low end. This master reference right here.
Down this road 100 more, and I can't see. Down this road 100 more, and I can't see.
It has way less bass and low end than ours does, and there's a reason for that. This master is very, very loud. Usually when you're struggling to get your track loud enough, it's because there's too much low end. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll a lot of that off.
Down this road 100 more, and I can't seem to find no love, and I can't seem to give no fucks, and maybe that's why she's so upset. Told that bitch I'm on a greater thing.
I think that's perfect. Mine still does have a little bit more, but like I said, I want to hang on to some of that. Open up a Maximus. This is going to be the last plugin. We're going to want to navigate to the clean master preset right here. This is a lot to look at, I know, but the first thing you're going to want to do is click on the bands tab right here, and you can see your lows, your mids, and your highs are split into 3 different sections, and you can view them each individually right here. Don't even worry about all this other stuff, all right? It already does a relatively good job at dividing the low, mids, and highs, so we won't even need to adjust any of this right here. Click on the low tab right here, and you're going to mess with this knob right here. This is our stereo separation knob. This works with the stereo field. Now, lows on a track should always generally be in the dead center, just so it sounds cleaner on all speaker systems. So to the right is going to be more center, and to the left is going to be more wide. Make sure to click solo so you can just hear the lows. All right, next we're going to spread the mids out a little bit.
Down this road 100 more, and I can't seem to find no love.
Generally no more than about 50%, but do what sounds good to you. It's your master. And we're going to leave the highs as they are, unless you want to spread that out a little bit too. But okay, now the master. All you're going to want to do is click on. That enables all this stuff right here. Only 2 knobs you're going to want to mess with are the attack. I would lower the attack just a little bit, and then just raise this knob up as high as it can go before it starts sounding like shit.
I've been in my head and I don't wanna run around. Been through this before, like my heart in the underground. Run till it stop and shut it down. 'Cause I don't wanna run out of love.
All right, cool. It's normal to have just a little bit of pumping, but try not to overdo it. So this is too much.
I've been in my head and I don't wanna run around.
It's just a little bit too compressed. And like I said, if you're not happy with how loud it got, reduce your lows until you can get it loud enough. And then as always, you can always go back and cross-reference this to this just to see if you're on the right path. If you see anything that sounds too off, make sure to go and correct it in your original mix as well. So yeah, once you're happy with your master, just go to File, Export as WAV file, and make sure to copy these settings right here and start. So yeah, there's a full in-depth mastering process, start to finish, using only stock plugins. I think it turned out pretty good. Let me know what you think in the comments, and let me know what you guys want next. So yeah, until next time.